Iran, America and Israel, what's the real reason behind their fight? There are 57 Islamic countries in the world. So why is it that America and Israel have focused only on Iran? To truly understand the conflict between Iran and the US, we need to go back all the way to World War II. We shall never surrender. During World War II, every country basically had two choices: either support the British Empire or stand with Hitler. Most countries backed the British Empire, but at that time, the Shah of Iran sided with the British Empire. They teamed up with Hitler, and after that Iran and Germany became really close friends. The British Empire didn't like this at all. So Britain started attacking Iran from all sides and quickly began conquering the entire country. Seeing this, the Shah of Iran surrendered to the British Empire within a few days and begged them to save his throne. The British agreed, but on one condition: he had to step down and his 22-year-old son would become the new Shah of Iran. This happened because his son, Rashad Pahlavi, was a loyal pit of the British Empire. The new king of Iran was heavily inspired by the English. He wanted the people of Iran to dress just like Westerners, throw parties like them, and forget all their traditions. That's why from day one he tried to distance Islam from the Iranian people. Because of this, he banned wearing the hijab in Iran, shut down many madrasas and mosques, and arrested the country's leading Islamic scholar. He started doing this, and music, parties and alcohol began spreading all over Iran. There was even a time when Iran was producing so much alcohol that this Islamic country started exporting it worldwide. The king of Iran thought whatever he was doing was absolutely great. I mean, to be honest, he saw himself as the king of kings. One day he even told King Faisal of Saudi Arabia, "Why are you stuck in the old ways? You should turn Saudi into a liberal country, just like the West." But the Saudi king Tehran refused to do that. But the funny thing is, today this same Saudi Arabia tells Iran to be a bit more liberal. But now Iran doesn't listen to them. After all, the Shah of Iran tried so hard to push Iran away from Islam that all the major Islamic scholars in Iran started opposing him. After that, these scholars began giving speeches against the Shah in mosques and madras. The biggest scholar among them was Iran Iyad Kummanin, and his followers started urging the people of Iran to rebel against the Shah. Oh, sure, waiting for it. Eventually commune influence in Iran grew so much that the Shah of Iran arrested him and expelled him from the country for good. After that, Imam Khomeini left Iran and settled in Iraq, where a young leader was closely watching his every move. Gradually, even Saddam Hussein began to fear Khomeini's rising power, and we've already explained that fully. But Irwan the Shah said, no, there was no need to kill him. That old Khomeini can't harm me in any way. Imam Khomeini started recording his speeches on cassettes while sitting in Iraq. These tapes were then secretly smuggled all across Iran. People got so inspired by Khomeini's words that little by little they began to see him as their leader more than the Shah of Iran. But removing the Shah wasn't going to be easy, since he had a very powerful army and full support from the super. Back then, America was like a boss, and in the Muslim world it was America's favorite puppet. But at that time, when the Shah of Iran was at the peak of his power, he made the biggest mistake of his life. The flames of Persia, the world's biggest and most expensive party, suddenly one day, the Shah of Iran announced that to revive the great Persian Empire, there would be the biggest party ever held in Iran. This was a party where all the world leaders and top celebrities were invited. The Shah wanted to bring that Persian Empire back to life. He wanted it. A long time ago, during the caliphate of Hazrat Umar bin Khattab, Muslims destroyed the ancient city of Iran. For this party, a new city was built in the middle of Iran's desert, and the Shah Iran ordered 600 limousines for his VIP guests. They served food on gold plates. After that, the Shah stood everyone up in front of him, sat on his golden throne and declared himself the new emperor of the empire. But while the Shah was living his lavish lifestyle, the poor people of Iran started to think, we are starving here, struggling to find food and drink, while our king eats off a golden plate. That's why after this party, the people of Iran quickly started leaning towards Imam Khomeini's ideas. Khomeini even declared in his tapes that Iran's king is the Yazid of all of times. Gradually Khomeini became so powerful in Iran that the king realized only one power could save him now, the superpower America. Just like his father before him, he went to beg the presidents of France and other countries, held a very important meeting together. At the end of this meeting, they clarity told the Shah of Iran that now no one could protect him from Khomeini. As soon as he heard this, the Shah left his country and fled for good. When Khomeini found out that the Shah had ran away from Iran out of fear of him, after spending 14 years in exile, Imam Khomeini finally set off towards Iran. Never before in history had so many people gathered for any leader as they did for Imam Khomeini. People gathered to welcome Khomeini. About 7 million people welcomed Imam Khomeini in Iran, which was a world record. As soon as Khomeini arrived in Iran, for the first time slogans like "Death to America" and "Death to Israel" started echoing across the country. Khomeini's followers arrested everyone in the American embassy. Khomeini even mentioned the American president by name, saying he wouldn't release those 50 people until America handed over the Shah of Iran to them. That's when the hostility between America and Iran began. But the Shah of Iran never returned. He didn't come. And after he died, his son declared himself the new Shah of Iran. Now in Iran, Khomeini set up his new Islamic government. But as soon as Khomeini became Iran's leader, at the same time, a new leader also came to power right next door in Iraq, Saddam Hussein. The thing was, the rest of the world's leaders were really scared of Khomeini's power because in his speeches, he kept urging Muslims everywhere to rise up against their rulers. Seeing this, Iraq's leader Saddam Hussein, following the advice of America and Arab leaders, moved against Khomeini. Saddam attack leading to a brutal war between Iran and Iraq that lasted 8 years. Even though Saddam had the support of the whole world, he couldn't remove Khomeini from power. And right after the war ended, Khomeini passed away. His funeral was the biggest in history, with around 10 million people attending, making it the largest gathering for any leader ever recorded in the Guinness World Records. After that, Iran's ministers came together, and after Khomeini they chose their new leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, a student of Ayatollah Khamenei, who is still Iran's supreme leader today. After the war with Iran ended, Iran's leaders realized that the US and Israel would never stop targeting them unless Iran had its own atomic bomb. But the problem was, making an atomic bomb isn't easy. It's a really complicated technology, and back then, no one was willing to hand over that tech to Iran. So, Iran was basically waiting for some kind of miracle, some country in the world to help them get their atom helped in making a bomb. And the strange thing is, that's exactly what happened. The country right next to Iran, the world's first Islamic country, Pakistan, made its first atomic bomb. Pakistan to today successfully conducted 5 nuclear tests. After developing the atomic bomb, Abdul Qadir Khan very secretly started sending centrifuge technology to Iran to help them make their own bomb. The centrifuge machine is the most important thing for making an atomic bomb. It basically spins just like a washing machine, but instead of clothes, uranium is put in. If uranium is kept in this machine for a short time, up to 5%, it generates electricity. But if uranium is spun in this machine for a longer time, up to 90%, it creates an atomic bomb. Iran started using Pakistan's technology to quickly build nuclear plants. But as soon as Iran began all this, somehow the US found out about it. The US was somewhat okay with Pakistan having an atomic bomb because Pakistan is a very loyal ally to America. You have to look after your own people no matter what happens. Pakistan never goes against America because they've been long-time friends. B&B, my friend. But Iran has always been the opposite. Time and again, it stared down America and threatened them. So as soon as America found out about Iran's project, the American president came out in front of the whole world and said in his speech that there are some countries trying to make chemical and atomic bombs for themselves, one being Saddam Hussein's Iraq and the other Iran under Khomeini. Everyone in the world knows by now that this was a huge lie. Shortly after George Bush's speech, America attacked Saddam Hussein, killed thousands in Iraq and toppled his regime. After breaking Saddam's rule so easily, the US realized it could accuse any country falsely and justify an attack. That's why after Afghanistan and Iraq, Iran became America's next target. And once again, the US kept repeating the lie that Iran had nuclear bombs. After that, the whole world was watching Iran's leader, Iraqi. It was the perfect time to attack Iran, because on one side, the US had a huge military presence in Afghanistan, and on the other, Iraq was also filled with American troops. Basically, the US had Iran surrounded from all sides. So all eyes were on Khomeini to see how he would protect Iran from the superpower America. And then Khomeini said something that completely blew away all the excuses the US had for attacking Iran. Khamenei, who is the top scholar in the Islamic world, issued a fatwa saying that making atomic bombs is completely forbidden in Islam for Muslims. Islam teaches us that even in war, you can't harm children, all people or women. You're not even allowed to cut down trees in battle, but an atomic bomb destroys everything indiscriminately. That's why Khamenei declared atomic bombs absolutely forbidden for Muslims. He also announced that Iran has no intention of making an atomic bomb and that Iran's doors are open to everyone. It was announced that no agency in the world should just come to Iran and see for themselves that Iran has no intention of making an atomic bomb. But when the UN team went to Iran, they found that all the nuclear plants there were built exactly like the ones in Pakistan. And the whole world realized that Iran had bought this technology from Pakistan. And pressure on Pakistan increased so much that Abdul Qadir Khan himself came on TV, admitted it, and then apologized to everyone. That's the truth. And to please the world, Pakistan Khan was arrested and locked up in his own house. After Ame's fatwa, America had no excuse left to attack. Still, America didn't listen to Israel. Slowly things started to change. A very important Iranian guy sitting in France wrote something really strange, that Hayat Adham's fatwa declaring the atomic bomb forbidden is fake and it's just hiding behind the Islamic concept of taka deception, is hiding in Islam. Taka means that a person can lie to save their own life. So this guy said that Khamenei issued this fake fatwa to save the people of Iran. And this guy, Mahmoud Murad Khan, is no ordinary person. He is Khamenei's sister's son, his own nephew. Khamenei's sister and her son are among his biggest enemies in Iran. Around this time, US also started getting more suspicious of Iran. Then in 2009, the US imposed really tough sanctions on Iran, significant regime of sanctions. Look at this graph. The US's before the sanctions, Iran's economy was booming fast. But as soon as the US imposed the sanctions, Iran's entire economy just came to a halt. After these US sanctions, a country like Iran, which is loaded with oil and gas, started going bankrupt. Without America's permission, Iran can't sell its gas to anyone in the world. Even after striking a deal with its close neighbor Pakistan, Pakistan refuses to buy gas from Iran. Instead of Iran's cheap gas, Pakistan imports LG, all the way from Qatar. It's like someone being too scared of a powerful landlord to even take care of their own home. People usually avoid buying expensive stuff from nearby shops and instead go far away to buy pricey items. There are only three major countries in the world that still do business with Iran today: China, Russia and India. Because of the sanctions imposed by the US, Iran situation got so bad that the Iranian government became willing to negotiate with America. Eventually, under President Barack Obama, Iran agreed to a nuclear deal where Iran promised not to make nuclear bombs, and in return, the US lifted all sanctions, allowing Iran's economy to get strong again. It was a huge win for both countries, but right from day one, there was one guy in America who was strongly against this deal. Donald Trump was totally against it because in America there's a massive Jewish network and without their support, no one can really get anything done. That's why shortly after winning his first election, Donald Trump scrapped the deal with Iran and slapped tough sanctions on Iran again to weaken its economy fast. Things were starting to fall apart. But of course, Iran is Iran. It wasn't going to stay quiet and scared like the rest of the Muslim world. As soon as Trump imposed sanctions on Iran, they kicked their nuclear program back into gear. On the other hand, everyone knows Donald. Trump doesn't tolerate anyone messing around with him. When Iran stared down America, Trump suddenly took action. One day, out of nowhere, he launched a missile strike that took out Iran's army chief, Qasem Soleimani. This was a huge deal for Iran and its people. It was humiliating that someone could so easily kill their army chief right in front of the whole world, which slowly but surely started ramping up anger against the US in Iran. And just after Soleimani's death, when new elections were held in Iran, a new president came into power. Ibrahim Raisi Bismillah Rahim Raisi was a nonsense, tough president who was never going to back down to the US or Israel under any circumstance. As soon as Raisi became president, Iran's nuclear program started ramping up again. And right from the start, everyone realized this. He made it clear that Iran won't be making any deals with the US anymore. At the same time, they started sending funding and weapons to all the groups fighting against Israel. And during that time, Israel and Gaza. But we all know what usually happens to any leader who openly speaks out against the US and Israel. President Raisi died when his helicopter crashed. After Raisi's death, exactly 1 year ago, Iran held elections again where the people chose a leader completely opposite to Ibrahim Raisi, who is a soft-spoken and practical guy. As soon as he became president, the first thing he announced was that they still firmly stand by Ayatollah's fatwa and Iran will never make a nuclear bomb. Now, we're not developing any. He also said that Iran is ready to deal not just with the US but with the whole world. Because of that, very secretly, just recently, meetings began between the US and Iran to strike. But Israel never wants the US and Iran to make a deal. So, Israel started trying everything it could, and then they started making false accusations against Iran. Again, Iran has never given up its quest for nuclear weapon. They say Iran is going to build an atomic bomb within a month, that it could happen in a few months. But this has been going on for the last 25 years. Iran has never given up on making nuclear weapons. It's just a few months here and there, a few tricks, producing nuclear weapons in a matter of months. What kind of atomic bomb is this supposed to be made in a month after 25 years? But still hasn't been made. Israel also accused Iran of repeatedly wanting to kill US President Donald Trump. That's why Israel is attacking Iran today, targeting every important person there, one by one. The top advisor is the supreme leader's right-hand man, who wants to make a deal with the US. Through these attacks, Israel is trying to provoke Iran into making a wrong move out of anger, hoping the superpower America will then strike Iran and bring down the Ayatollah Khomeini regime that was established many years ago.